Hey, sit with me for a second. I want to ask you something straight up. Have you been replaying the same few scenes over and over? A message you didn't send, a moment you wish you'd handled differently, the way she looked one last time? It's normal. When someone mattered, our brains turn into little movie studios, rewinding the good parts until that ache becomes background noise. But here's the thing, nobody tells you plainly. If you want someone to miss you, it's not a trick or a manipulative stunt. It's a change in how you live your life. Today, I'll walk you through real, humane moves. You can make that do two things at once. They preserve your dignity, and they quietly make her wonder what she lost. Think of this like advice from a friend who's been through it and came out sharper. First thing, stop being loud about your longing. The first mistake most guys make is they make their desire into a headline. Constant texts, late night voice notes, blowing up her stories. It's like leaving the lights on in an empty house hoping someone comes back. The quieter option is always stronger. If she already knows you like her, then repeating it 100 times doesn't make it truer, it just makes you smaller. Instead, practice the small counterintuitive move, step back gently. If you usually message first, wait. If you usually accept every invitation, say no to a few, and rediscover what you enjoy alone. It's not cruelty, it's maturity. Example, imagine you always call after work. One week, you decide to go to an old friend's event instead. You come back with a story, new laughter, and a calm energy. She'll notice a different rhythm in you, not because you played a game, but because you started living a life that isn't waiting for a reply. Second thing, become scarce in a tasteful way. Scarcity isn't about ghosting or playing jerky games. It's about creating space so your presence has weight. Think of it like this. A rare vinyl record feels more valuable than a playlist on shuffle. The human brain does a value swap. What's always available becomes background noise, so be present, but not predictable. If you meet her at work or class, be warm and normal, but don't orbit her day. Keep your schedule full. Say yes to one plan with friends the moment she asks you to hang out, because you already committed. Example, if you have a regular coffee run and she expects you to be at the same spot every day, change the routine. Go on a Saturday hike instead. Your life shifts, and when she glimpses that shift, it registers as change, as absence that's actually presence in another place. Third thing, let your silence hold your value. Bro, sometimes the strongest move you can make is to just be quiet. And I don't mean giving the cold shoulder or trying to punish her. I mean silence that comes from self-respect. When you stop chasing with explanations, when you stop trying to prove your point in 10 different ways, you actually protect your value. Think about it. When you're silent, you give yourself space to calm down, to think clearly, and to respond with strength instead of desperation. People mix it up and think silence means you don't care anymore. But the truth is, silence is where you rebuild yourself. Like, imagine you and her had an argument. Instead of sending a long paragraph explaining yourself, you just take a step back and say, "I'll talk when I've cooled down." That one line shows more maturity than 10 texts ever could. It shows you respect yourself, and you'll only engage when you're steady. That's the kind of quiet that makes her realize you're not a man to be messed with. You're a man who knows his worth. Fourth thing, build rituals that are just yours. Look, man, one of the biggest reasons guys get stuck chasing is because their whole life starts to revolve around her. Every plan, every mood, every thought, it's all about her. That's why you feel empty when she pulls away. You've got nothing that's just yours. The fix? Build little routines that belong to you and you only. Stuff that grounds you, that keeps your head straight no matter what's going on. Maybe it's hitting the gym every morning. Maybe it's reading a few pages before bed. Maybe it's working on that side hustle you've been putting off, or making it a point to catch up with your funniest friend once a week. These small rituals give structure to your day. They remind you that you have a life outside of her, and when your day has a backbone, you're harder to shake, harder to drag into drama. For example, instead of scrolling through her socials at night, grab a notebook and just write whatever's on your mind for 10 minutes. Nobody has to see it. You don't have to post about it. But after a few weeks, you'll notice something. You'll feel calmer, clearer, more in control. And that kind of quiet confidence, man, that's way more attractive than being desperate for her attention. Fifth thing, Tell better stories about yourself. Bro, people remember the stories you live, not the hours you spent waiting on a text. If all she thinks of you as is the guy glued to his phone, that's a weak story. Start living moments worth talking about. Go to that live music spot in town, try cooking something new, or take a quick trip somewhere you've never been. It doesn't have to be flashy, just real. Here's the thing, you don't even need to brag. Sometimes the smallest detail is what sticks. Like if someone asks about your weekend and instead of saying, nothing much, you go, I checked out this little cafe that only plays old vinyl records. That tiny line makes you sound alive. And being alive, having stories, experiences, movement is way more attractive than sitting around waiting for her call. Sixth thing, lead instead of asking permission. Listen, man. Leadership isn't about being the loudest guy in the room. It's about stepping up and making a choice without needing someone else to decide for you. A lot of guys fall into that trap of always asking, so what do you want to do? And honestly, that gets tiring. Flip it around. Be the one who sets the plan. Say something like, let's hit that new gallery Saturday at 4, then grab food after. Simple, clear. If she's not into it, no big deal, you adjust. But just the fact that you took the lead shows confidence, and trust me, that kind of decisiveness is attractive. It tells her you're a man who can create a life, not just sit back waiting for directions. Seventh thing, let your absence show your value, not punish her. Bro, there's a big difference between stepping back to show your worth and stepping back to hurt someone. Some guys go cold just to make her feel bad. That's not strength, that's bitterness. The real power move is when your absence is filled with life. You're not sitting in silence waiting for her reaction. You're out there living, laughing, and giving your energy to people who actually value it. Like instead of sitting at home scrolling, spend a Saturday helping out at a community event, or just hang with friends doing something real. You're not posting it to rub it in her face. You're simply living well. And when she notices that space you left behind, she sees the truth. You didn't disappear to punish her. You disappeared because your life has meaning with or without her. That's the kind of absence that speaks the loudest. Eighth thing, give yourself closure and move forward. Man, this one's tough, but it's also the most freeing. A lot of guys sit around waiting for her to explain, to apologize, to give them some neat ending. Truth is, she may never do that. And if you keep waiting, you'll stay stuck. So here's what you do. Create your own closure. Write her a letter you'll never send. Say what you need to say into your phone, then delete it. Burn the paper if you want to. Not for drama, but for peace. And while you're at it, clean up the stuff that keeps you tied to her. Delete the old screenshots. Toss out those little reminders. Even reorganize your space. You'll be shocked at how physical clutter ties you to emotional clutter. Once you clear it out, you'll feel lighter, like you actually have space for new experiences, new people, new energy. That's what real closure is. You deciding it's time to move forward.